What's going on, guys? Phantom with Bird Gaming. Coming back to the commentary scene here on this channel. We've been gone for a while, but feel like we should bring it back with a nice Destiny Impressions video. At this point, I guess everyone has played the demo or the beta. If you haven't, you must have missed out. Maybe you were on vacation or something. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and say, you had something better to do than play this beta. But this is definitely easily one of the most anticipated games of the year, and there's a lot of stuff about this game we didn't really know coming into the beta. Still a lot of stuff we still don't know going into the coming out of the beta. So, I just wanted to pop in and give my impressions on this stuff. I recorded a couple games, so what you're seeing right now is a nice little 4-game montage. I didn't really have a big opportunity to play the beta a lot. I had 2 days to play it, so this was, all these games are all back to back to back to back, I thought they were good enough to put in here. So what you're gonna see is that while you listen to me rant about this, the impressions that I have of this beta. So I'm just gonna hop right into it. Obviously, there's two components to this game, as like every other game out there, but there's obviously the solo, which everyone's calling PvE. I guess that's an MMO term that I'm not really familiar with. And then there's PvP, which is obviously the multiplayer. PvE standing for player versus environment, and PvP, player versus player. I got that stat off of Wikipedia, so hopefully that's accurate. But anyway, getting into the PvE or the campaign or whatever you want to call it, it's probably a good thing that I start off and say, if I had done this commentary or impressions video about, I don't know, the day after the beta ended, it probably would have been a lot different and a different attitude towards it. Because I'm going to be honest, coming out of the beta, I didn't really like it. I thought it really lacked a lot, and it didn't really impress me too much. I didn't really think it was that great. I don't know. I mean, would I have left and canceled my pre-order? No, probably not, because I had a lot of friends that are still getting this game. But I think at this point, I'm waiting for Master Chief Collection, and this will hold me over until then. And I think that's going to be the case with a lot of Xbox fans. Maybe not for PlayStation fans, but for Xbox guy like me, that's what I'm waiting for, and this will hold me over. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but I don't want to get sidetracked again, so we're going to jump into the campaign. As far as campaign goes, I really think that it's going to be a very long campaign. We've seen maybe four to six maps, I think, were in the beta, and they were very long. Some levels are longer than others, but I think a game like this is going to be just insanely long, and I mean, obviously that's going to be a good thing, because you don't want to play, through the campaign and then beat it and go like, all right, what's next? I mean, you want to play the campaign and just have a great time. And the beta was kind of flawless in the sense that the campaign was performing well. I get lagged out of anything, and I guess that's a good thing to know. Obviously, when you play a beta, you're really working for free. Basically, you're testing things out for, in this case, Bungie. You're not really in it for your own enjoyment. You're really playing it for them. I mean, obviously you can enjoy it, but you're really just playing the game for Bungie. It's free work for them. So I wrote a list down of things that I thought were worth mentioning. And as I already said, the first thing on my list is, it's going to be a great game for PS4 guys, because they really don't have anything out right now, despite what you might hear from anyone who has a PS4. I mean, seriously, they have no games. And obviously Xbox really has no games either. I mean, they have Titanfall, but I mean, I gotta be honest, as much as I love Titanfall, it's getting a little boring at this point. So we gotta find games, and obviously Xbox has a huge lineup coming. Like I said, Master Chief Collection, The Crew, obviously that's from PlayStation as well, but we have Sunset Overdrive, and a couple other titles that are escaping me right now, obviously Call of Duty. But, so I wanted to point out some other things from the campaign that I noticed that kind of struck me as a negative. And I know there's a lot of positives, and obviously the positive I said was that it's a long campaign. I think that's the only thing that people are really looking at, is that it's long, which is great, but I couldn't help but notice the story kind of seemed a little lacking. I mean, obviously the beta didn't really delve too much into it. I mean, I listened to everything that people were saying in the campaign, as far as characters, but I didn't really get a whole sense of what the heck I was doing in Destiny. I mean, I played betas before, and this was probably a pretty crappy beta as far as telling the story. I mean, I played a Halo 1 demo years ago, and it was on Silent Cartographer. And even in Silent Cartographer, that one map, it tells you a little bit about what's going on in Halo. And this beta really didn't tell me what was going on. I still don't know what's happening, and I played a beta of 6 levels. I mean, there were no cutscenes that I remember. I mean, I might have skipped them, but there's no cutscenes. And I really don't know what the heck is going on. But now that I have Halo here, obviously Bungie made Halo. I brought Halo into the conversation. It seemed to me that a lot of the enemy movements in this game were very similar to what was going on in Halo. The strafing, the stupidity of it. I mean, they literally sometimes would just run up to you and just stand there and take bullets. I mean, it happened in Halo all the time. And so I feel like, we still have that stupid AI, and we still have the same movements, the strafing, staying in packs, which, in some degree is good, but, I kind of want a little bit more. And another thing that looks like Halo, the Ghost that is played by Peter Dinklage, obviously a striking resemblance to 343 Guilty Spark. I mean, I feel like they just didn't even try there, which kind of disappoints me. It's like, really, you didn't even try. So, I mean, the AI is kind of weird. The 343 Guilty Spark looking Ghost. I mean, it's like crazy. Like, why? Like, really, you had no other ideas? Come on. What else? I mean, Peter Dinklage's audio was, I heard it was really bad in the alpha, so they had him come in and redo it, and I still thought it was pretty crappy. I mean, considering how great he is on Game of Thrones, I just feel like he wasn't that great in this. And another thing, before I go to multiplayer, I thought that I forget what it's called, but the bike that you summon, the little like scooter bike thing that floats, I think that's cool that you can summon it. Obviously, they're going to be seeing a lot of big maps that are going to need this bike, but come on, man. I mean, it's straight out of Star Wars. I mean, it sounds like the glider bikes from Star Wars, and it looks just like it. I mean, come on, how much more similar can you get? So I kind of just asked for more. I feel like they didn't even try. So, I mean, to summarize the campaign, I mean, I know it's a lot of negatives, but I think the campaign's still going to be fun to some degree. I mean, it feels like Borderlands, which is fine. I mean, it's what an MMO is, but at the same rate, I don't know. I feel like they didn't really try too hard to be something different than Halo. It's still a otherworldly thing. There's still like kind of aliens. It's still like if they just gone away from the aliens thing. I mean, fine. That I would have been cool with. But I don't know. I feel like Destiny is going to hold a lot of similarities to Halo, and I just feel like they didn't really try as hard as I had hoped. But that being said, let's move on to the multiplayer. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible because I wanted to make this a shorter video. So at the beginning of the beta, I started playing, and I realized I can't even join multiplayer right out the bat. And I thought, that's weird. Maybe I got to unlock it or something, or maybe they'll like release it later, like tomorrow, But no, then I found out you needed to get to level 5 to play in the multiplayer, so that I scratch my head and I think, is that going to be that way in the retail version? Because that's what's weird about this, because we see a lot of arena-style games like Halo and Call of Duty and Battlefield and stuff, and anyone can just go into a game and pick up and play where everyone else is at. And this game is completely different. I mean, you can drop into Call of Duty, and yeah, you might not have the best gun in the game, but at least if you're using the first tier gun that they give you, it's still it still holds a chance against everyone else. And Halo obviously is completely different. You can drop in, and everyone on the other team and your team spawns with the same exact weapons. There's a chance that there's mirrored maps, that they're symmetrical, and you have that. But in this game, it was just different. And so I was kind of confused at why I had to play the single player in order to get to the multiplayer. I could be a person who's completely out of the loop of single player. I really don't care. And that's what I am. I really don't care about the single player. I just want to play multiplayer. That's what video games are to me right now. and so I can't just get this game and go right into multiplayer. I have to play single player. So I thought that was a little weird, and it was really, really weird. I know I said it was a little weird, but it's really weird, and I think that they should honestly change that, but it's not going to be something that can be changed between beta and retail. So, and then I realized, which really pissed me off, when I first played through the campaign, the best gun that I had was a pistol. And it was a great pistol for campaign, but when I go in the multiplayer, it sucked. And I didn't have a sniper, and I felt like everyone that I was running into had a sniper and had a machine gun of some sort that was just owning. And I didn't have any machine guns that were really good. I mean, they all recoil like a mofo. And, I stood no chance. So I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. So I thought it was maybe the guy that I picked who was originally a warlock. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll get to level 8 and I'll go to Titan. And so I realized that all these Titans are having assault rifles and sniper rifles. So I quick started up a Titan. I ran through the campaign with a friend of mine for a whole day. And then on the second, at the end of that day, and then the third day that I played, I was actually able to, I had a machine gun, or an assault rifle that was pretty decent, and a sniper rifle, so I was actually able to, compete with everyone else on an even playing field. But I still thought it was a little odd that, I was really frustrated that I couldn't do anything essentially because my guns that I had from single player were a piece of crap. And so, I asked myself, is that going to be how it is? I mean, if I have a level 20 gun and I go in against a guy who's got like a level 40 gun, am I going to get owned? I mean, at least everyone was at the same kind of level 8 buffer that they could only get to that. So that I scratched my head at that, but then I read later that there's a setting to turn off level advantages. So I don't really know what that does. I guess the only thing that you see is, recoil. I guess damage is nerfed and for guys who have high guns and buffed for guys who have low guns, etc. So that's good, but then there's also a game mode where level advantages are turned off. So or turned on, or whatever the opposite is. So it doesn't really become a game of whoever has better guns. It becomes a game of whoever has a more even gun. I mean, I don't know how else to say that, but obviously that's just a little weird to me. I didn't like that. I thought, games now, arena games need to be, in a sense, equal. Everyone needs to have an equal opportunity to play. It shouldn't be based off of who has the best gun. I don't have a problem with that. So, what else? There's a possibility that there's too many weapons for multiplayer. Obviously the single player, there's going to be many alterations. A level 30 gun of the same thing can be a level 40 gun. It's like literally the same stats. I don't really know what makes a 30 gun and a 40 gun any better than the other one. So, either way, super abilities are a little weird. I thought the one for Titan and Warlock were kind of the same. I mean, they're fine. But then there's this other one, I forget what the other class is called. I don't know, I can't remember, but the other one with the gold gun, where you can like summon this golden gun, you can shoot 3 times and it's basically a one-hit kill. I think that's a little overpowered, to be honest. Thought it was a really weird thing. I don't know. You can kill 3 people easily, and with the other 2, you can kill multiple people, but they all have to be in the same spot, which is pretty rare in itself. So I don't know. I just thought that's pretty overpowered. So let me look at the rest of my list. The maps seem okay, I guess. I mean, the 2 that they gave us, they weren't symmetrical. And I played on the Xbox One, so I don't know if PlayStation users got different maps. But on the Xbox One version, the 2 maps that they gave us were pretty big, which is fine for a game like this. But they weren't symmetrical, which is a little odd. So there might be a reason. There might be a downfall to that. I mean, we played Domination, so I guess you really don't need a symmetrical map for Domination, but you might for like a Team Slayer or like a CTF or something like that. So that's going to be an issue. Obviously, Halo Reach, they didn't have a lot of symmetrical maps, and that was a main complaint for Halo Reach, other than the Bloom. So that might come back to bite them in the ass. So, like I said at the beginning, when I started playing the multiplayer, I didn't think it was good. I was about to go to GameStop and cancel my pre-order, and then I read all this other stuff, and then I got a good gun, and so I was able to compete. But, these downfalls are just a little weird, and obviously I'm going to play this game until Master Chief Collection comes out. and honestly, I'm not going to pick it up after that. I really think I'm not going to play this game after Master Chief Collection comes out, or The Crew. So, let me know what you think in the comments. I know this review is mainly negative, but there's one big positive, and that's it's Bungie, so it's going to be solid, and it's big, so it's going to be fun. And I think there's going to be a lot of support, especially from Bungie, because they're a great company and they know what they're doing with video games. But at the same rate, I think this game is a perfect example of what not to do in multiplayer. I think the single player would be great, but it's a perfect idea or example of what not to do with multiplayer. It's different, but not in a good way. A game like Titanfall is different, but in a good way because everything is balanced and it works. I mean, Respawn has even come out and said, hey, we're not going to add another Titan because the Titans that we have are perfectly balanced, and we're not going to add more guns because the guns that we have are perfectly balanced. So, obviously they're not messing with balance because they know balance is a big thing that comes to video games, multiplayer video games. So, it's all up to Bungie at this point, what they choose to do. And obviously, like I said, let me know what you think in the comments as I walk around my house. And, watch our other videos. I mean, look forward to other Destiny videos or Master Chief Collection videos and all this other stuff. And hopefully, the rest of you who follow to the end of this, hear this plug for Cousin, who's coming back with more Madden videos pretty soon, obviously. When that comes out, he's going to be getting it for the Xbox One, and he promised me that he was going to be streaming more religiously than he has in the past when Madden 25 comes out, or Madden 15. So watch his stuff. Obviously, I know the majority of the people on his channel are for him and not for me, but anyway, if you made it this far in this review, thank you, and we'll see you next time.